was actually going to be for the chief office medical examiner in New York City. It's due August 3rd. So initially, how it comes in is that it comes in through securities at gmail.com, and it comes in as Passport. So when you see an email coming from Passport notification, it's either a list of jobs that they have and going out for bid, or it's something that I'm bidding on actually. So we're gonna click the link, and it's the same Passport login. For this one, the info is for the VIPs, so we want to log in under security. So here, inside here is where we could see any work tickets that we have open from the city. We could see our payments from the city and things like that. But all we're going to look for right here is we're going to browse our RFX responses. So what we're looking for is the Office of Chief Medical Examiner, because it's due August 3rd. There's another one that I'm going to show you how to do. It's a little bit involved, and this is due August 29th. But this is due August 3rd, so we're going to do this now. So we click on the link, scroll all the way down, and they have all this paperwork. So we got to download this paperwork. So download the paperwork. We locate them in the downloads folder. They're all right here. So what we want to do is create a folder, current bids. It's July, so 2023, and July through September. We're going to create a new folder, call this Chief Medical Examiner. Then we're going to go back. We're going to copy these. So Shift, click, copy all of them. Right click. We're going to cut them, and then we're going to go back. Then we're going to right click, and then we're going to paste them. So now they're all inside this new folder. Chief Medical Examiner. Everything is coordinated. What we will be doing is once we get jobs, let's say from any alert from any jobs, we're going to be adding it to Zoho Binging. And once the jobs get approved and we're actually getting paid for these jobs, we're going to add them to Zoho Projects. So that way we can create tasks, keep track of the things that we need to keep track on about the project. If we can order equipment, reach out to customers, technicians, things that's missing, we'll be using services like that so we can stay aboard and stay up front in front of everything. So let's check out this paperwork. Addendums is like a change to the documents, and you have to acknowledge these. You have to sign these. So I'm going to print this out, and I have to sign that to let them know I acknowledge the addendum. They put out addendums when they're just making a change. That's all. It could be a small change. It could be a minor change. It could be any kind of change. Usually they drop an addendum when it's like due date is coming close and they want to extend the due date. They'll extend the due date. They drop an addendum to extend the due date. We got the first document open. So these two documents right here, they made the addendum because the pricing, one of the columns didn't calculate correctly, so they fixed it. So now they open up this price sheet right here. So we're going to open up that price sheet because that's the version 2 one. We're going to open up this fire alarm solicitation documentation, and we're going to open on the solicitation experience questionnaire, because all this stuff we're going to have to fill out with our information. So let's go back to the PDF. Let's browse this. Somehow the paperwork got all screwed up. So we got the paperwork, so we got to browse through this 30-page real quick to see what they're talking about. So let's give you a brief description of the system. This is like the scope of work, let you know any other details within the job. So I usually just breeze through this really quickly just to see if there's anything that's going to pop out. Most of the stuff is just generic information. It's good to read because every project is different. So it tells you here the length of service. So it says the term is expected for 3 years from July to August 2023 to the July 2026. Start dates not determined yet. Expenditures over the term of the service call shall not exceed $1 million, meaning that this 3 years shouldn't exceed no more than $1 million, or try not to. So the financials, requirements, you want to go through that. Just keep looking. You want to look for like how they're going to pay you. Just make sure that there's nothing important. So you want to just skim. Materials shall be responsible to see that tools, materials, and delivered all deliveries, original equipment manufacturer, regular service calls, 8 to 4:30, emergency calls, you just got to get there quickly, service calls, final acceptance service, warranty, So what they want to do, they need someone to maintain a fire alarm system, and they need someone to monitor their fire alarm system. So there's two things we're getting from them. And these are the jobs I like to go for to build up our monthly recurring income. This will help us out when it comes to cash flow. We don't have big installs, so we can get some good service contracts and stuff like that. So prevailing wage rate, materials and markup. So right here, you can't go no more than 10% on a material markup. So I'm gonna go max 10%, but I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do these calculations to make sure we can win. So right here, this is crazy. So in these buildings, to enable access to all equipment and devices, the contractor shall, within 10 business days of the written notice to proceed at no additional cost to the old CME, provide new fiberglass ladders of the appropriate size and landing capacity to be dedicated for the store individually. What? Floors 5, the ladders will be stored. I need to update my application with the fire department. I just got to send that in. So central station, more of the scope of work. So now it's telling you about the classifications that they have. So we're gonna have to go and download the New York State prevailing wage rate, so we can identify what the rates are for these particular fields. They may give it to us, but we'll see. They give us a list of devices. Here, this is explaining how you fill out the worksheet. This right here is good to look over, so that way you could actually put the numbers in correctly. So it's saying that you got to enter your lump sum, telling you to put your prevailing wage rate. So it's prevailing wage times the multiplier, whatever your multiplier is, 1%, 2%, 3%. So here they telling you how, each year, I think every 9 to 12 months, the prevailing wage rate go up. We just went up from 55 to 57. So we need to make sure we do that because it's a 3-year contract. So the first year be 57, second year be whatever, then the third year be the next rate. This pretty much is telling you how things is getting done. So what I want to do is print out. So now we fill this information out. Just naming a few jobs and areas. So now we got to put some information. Got to figure out some people to use. I got to look at all the information. Got to think of all these jobs. Being that this client that we're bidding on is looking for, if we have history in doing fire alarm service, programming, repairs, and monitoring. So what I want to do is give him the clients that we're actually performing these services on. So that way, if they intend to call, it'll be verified. So the first one I have is Delaware Valley, because we did a lot of service on their system. And the next one is National Park Service, because we service, but we also monitor their fire alarm system. So the next one I'm going to put is for monitoring is going to be for Long Island Cemetery, because these are all government jobs. It lines right up with them. So they can be like, oh, yeah, he's in that field. Yeah, no doubt. So Long Island Cemetery, right? So we got to look for these guys. VA.gov. Hugh O'Neill. So hopefully using these government agencies will give me some type of edge with this client. This dude is in Quantico, Virginia. I don't have many voice command systems out there. I'm trying to think. So once that is done, I'm going to double check, make sure everything is good to go. Make sure we have all of the information in there. As you know, they give you gigs. Everything is good. So we're going to save this. We're going to save this as a PDF because I don't have to sign it. And then I'm going to just put Syscorp in front of it so that way we know it's saved. So now we have that document. So all these documents, let's figure out how we're going to do this pricing. They only want you to mark up 10% on the material. So I'm going to max 10%. So that's what we're going to charge for material. So now we got to figure out what these labor rates are. So what we got to do is type in prevailing wage New York. So we want to look for the construction workers schedule. We're going to download this into that folder for. So now we look for carpenter. Right. See carpenter. See how simplified this stuff is. Look how much they're getting paid. So building commercial. We'll have to use building commercial. So since they want us to use a carpenter, so we got to read this, right? So it's $55.05 plus $47, and we got to make sure there's no other rates applied, because these lines separate means that it's going to start a new classification. $55.05 plus 47.88, and pay attention. This is going to be for 1 year, so that's 102.93. So if we come to this sheet here, we know we got year 1, year 2, year 3. So for year 1, that'll be 102 for the carpenter, 102.93, and then your figure, you will have to go back to an old worker schedule to see what the old rate was, because here you'll have to look at the last one, figure out the increase. So if you figure if the old rate was 55.19 plus 3% equals, nope, 55.19, 5%. Yeah, it's around 5%. You would take this number, 102.93, multiply by 5%. This is to get the next year's. So we still on carpenters. So 102.93 plus 5%, that'll give us 108.08. So for year 2, we'll go carpenter 108.08. And then for year 3, we'll clear this out, 108.08 plus 5, another 5%, and that would be 113.48. 113.48. So all we're going to do is just get the calculation numbers in, and then we're going to add up. The material is always going to be 10%. We're going to charge the max they allow us to charge. Make sure we do that for year 2. So how much is for a carpenter helper? What you could do is you could look for like a mason tender, use that rate for a carpenter helper. A mason tender is like a generic term that could be used for any classification. It could be a laborer, they could be carpenter, a plumber. This is just a classification that they use, sort of like a helper. The rate is $43, right? And the supplemental benefit is $29.39. But before calculating a premium wage, deduct $3. So I'm not going to use a mason tender for like demo work, but there's different types of mason tenders. We want to use this guy, $43.30, $43.80 plus $29.39. $73.19. So now we do the 5%, $76.85. Electrician, alarm technician. Alarm technician. And the good thing about this is that it's giving you, this is for this year, and this would be for next year. Alarm technician for the first year would be $36.40 plus $20.57.07. Then for next year, because it says it right here, because this will start next year, so that'll be $37.40 plus 21.44, $58.84. So now electrician M, that is like a kind of like a journeyman. So not a pole electrician. First 8 hours, second 8 hours. So for the electrician M, they also break it down too. So for the first 8 hours, and this is overtime after the first 8 hours, we got some overtime rate. We got to make sure we come back here. So for the first 8 hours, the wage will be 31 plus 26.75. So this is telling you this is what the base salary is, and this is what if first and second year wage and supplemental. If they just started first and second year, they would be getting paid these two salaries. If they've been there after a little while, then it'll be these two, like 2 years, 3 years, stuff like that. We're gonna go with the latter. 31.25 plus 26.55, 57.80. Now that we got all the labor rates involved, that was a little involved. So we're gonna add our multiplier. So our multiplier would be the percentage. We're gonna mark it up. We're gonna play around a little bit just to see where we could find a good hourly rate. Because if you think about it, 5707 times 40 is 22. So this is what I would have to pay the guy. So how much do I want to make? Do I want to make 50% on top of this? Do I want to make 50% on top of that, which would give me $1,000? So now we got to start figuring out how much do I want to make on top of this. I think 50% is good. I don't want to make less than that, because then it's like doesn't really help. Or even if I go like this, 5707 plus 35%. See if I give them a 35% markup times 40 equals plus 35%. So like $800 I make on that. Every day I'll make $800 per guy. So now we got to start thinking. Now if we have 4 guys making $800, that's $3,200 a day we're making on the guys, and then they're getting good money as well. Yeah, of course, because that's the reason for the prevailing wage is to pass through to the actual workers, not really the company. Yeah, I could charge double the rate, but I may not get the job. So I'm gonna go with 50% and see what they say. And then the second year, we're just gonna go up 5%. Right, so we're gonna do like 1.55%. So that way, this is like an increase to compensate for the increase. And then we're gonna make this 60%. Because remember, if we're charging 5707, so if I do 57.07 plus 50%, then I'm only charging like $85 an hour. So that way we both make money, the company and us. These are billion-dollar corporations. They could afford this. And whatever the cost of material is, it'll just be 10% on top of that. So we'll have to show that proof. So now, Central Station, four sites. Realistically, they usually average out for the average customer. They usually average out to like $110 a month, which would give you almost $1,500 a month. But this is New York City, within the city. Like what I mean by that, that things in the city cost more. So because we charge our customers in the Bronx or maybe Westchester 100 and something dollars per month, these agencies, we're not going to be charging them $100 and $200 per month. I'm going to be charging them $400, $500, maybe even $600 per month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what $500 per month look like, because I'm charging on the average for monitoring for like the Long Island Cemetery. I'm charging them almost $600 per month just to monitor that fire alarm system. So for each one of these buildings per month, it'll be $500 a month. That's 24,000 for the year for these four buildings, and that's just $500 a month. Now, this is not really about calculating numbers. We know that this particular type bid is a minority owned type of bid. It's going out between four people. So we have a 25% chance of winning this. They don't want you, they're trying to keep it less than $1 million, right? So for the whole entire contract. So you got to understand that we can't go over. We could charge whatever we want. We could charge 500,000 per year. That's putting us over 1.5. That's what it costs. That's just what it's going to cost. But it shouldn't cost that much. We can negotiate a lot of these prices with these particular companies that's out there, so we can get the parts and stuff like that. How I like to do it is they're asking how much it's going to cost per month on a lump sum to send somebody out there if there's a problem. So now there's different sizes. This building is smaller than this building. This building right here is the largest. I have the paperwork is how I know. Plus I've seen these sites. So the largest building, I'm going to charge the most. So this is the largest building, and this is the one that we went to. Yeah, this is the one we went to first. And the reason why I'm going to charge more here, because this is a proprietary system. It's like Simplex. Only Simplex can work on it. It's not a Simplex system. I can't remember the name. Pyrotronics. I can't remember the name, but only that particular company can work on it. Nobody else. So whatever their price is for smoke detectors, that's what I'm gonna have to pay. If they want to charge me $700 for a smoke detector, it's nothing I can do about that. I have to charge that and then add 10% and make $70 on that smoke detector. So the building with the most difficult requirement, I'm going to put the highest price, and I'm just freestyling the price right now, because once I get to the end, I'm gonna see exactly what that number is. Because I know, like I said, it's $1 million contract for 3 years. Three, and three. That's $900,000. So we can't. We have to play with the numbers 300 and above to stay under a million. According to the paperwork, it's the smallest building. Because I generally know that for each building, I want to try to charge $20,000 a month. That was a calculation I came up with, because if you multiply that by 10, that's 200,000 plus 2 more months. That's 240,000 plus these other little calculations and whatnot. So I'm figuring I could get 20 or more per month from this client. So the next two buildings, one in Queens and one in Brooklyn, they're similar in size and similar in style. So I'm gonna see if I could just do 6,000. So now this is what the price is: 321,422. I could take these prices that I already have here and then just add 3%. This is very important. Make sure you put our name. So now, being that I have these numbers here, I can then go over to year two. So year one, I'm charging $4,000, right? And all I'm going to do here is just add 5% to my first existing price. So 4,000, 4,200, 7,500 plus 5%, 7,875, 6,000 at 5%, 6,300. Now we're going to do 500 plus 5. 5% is 525. That puts me at 334. So now we do another 5%. Because each year I'm just increasing the price by 5%. So 4,200, 4,410, 7,875. So this is the total. So now we got to add up all these totals to see where we at. So this is 351, 510, 60 plus 334, 351.31. They have to refill this out on their, on their website, their portal, whatever, but it's fine. So we just make sure we got, okay, so it looks like we got everything. We got the addendum. So let me sign this. Let me scan it. So let's look at the scan. So we save that in that folder. Chief Medical Examiner, Syscorp, sign, addendum. So now we go back to the Passport website. You got to reconnect and log in. I know this is a long video, but this is what I do when I'm sending out these bids and quotes, especially for the government. And this is not even us writing a proposal. We're actually just responding to an RFP. Not an RFP. An RFP is a request for a proposal. We're just responding to a bid with their paperwork, and we just filling out their paperwork and sending it back to them. Now we're going to click that job. We're going to manage the responses. And we're going to put the proposal completion to pull that name in. We're going to click on proposal. Then we're going to change this to whatever the name is. Fire. See the name up here. So we're going to put that fire alarm and calm maintenance second solicitation proposal. Then we select what is this for? It's for this guy here. So now that's our proposal. We can click save if we want to. So that way we can save that work, and then we go to questionnaire. So then now we have to drag the document, the Word document that we had filled out. So we're gonna look for customer proposals, current bids, proposals 2023, July, Chief Medical Examiner. See if I can save it as a PDF or something. As you see right here, experience 100%. And then we click on pricing. And then what we have to do is go back to that folder, and then we attach just quickly verify that this is actually the right document. Make sure we got the name. So now subcontractors, joint ventures, we're not doing no joint ventures. So all they want to know is what our price is and the questionnaire. So they want to know our experience and the pricing. That's all they want. So this right here is actually ready to be submitted. So all we have to do is click validate and submit, because if there was more items for us to do, there would be a bunch of things right here that we would have to do. We would have to go to another space to put in the actual calculations, but we don't have to do that. We upload the 2 sheets, validate and submit. So it tells you right here, 2 out of 2 has been filled, 2 documents have been attached. So they're telling you that everything that you did is checked off. And if you missed anything, it wouldn't even allow you to submit the proposal to tell you to go back and fix whatever error you have to fix. So that way you don't sit any incomplete responses. So we submit our proposal. Our proposal has been submitted to the Chief Medical Office Examiner for less than $1 million for all 3 years. Hopefully we can get this. This would be a very nice jump for us. This would definitely help us out with long-term goals. All right, so from here, click close. We can see if there's any conversation, what the team is, who it's just me. So we could save and close that. And now our solicitation has been submitted. If we go to our email address, we'll see right here, passport notification in response to this RFX for fire alarm system communication amendment has been submitted. So we just submitted our quote for that. All right. So that is how we submit our quotes through Passport for New York City jobs. I'll be showing you how to do government jobs, private jobs, and also other quotes that we prepare for the system. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, because I want to make this as best as possible, as seamless as possible, and as easy as possible for anyone to be able to do it.